Welcome back to our studios here in Randburg, Johannesburg. As usual, we're live with you the entire morning. It's the second day of the sentencing process and court is currently taking an early tea break. This morning, Advocate Gerrie Nel began his cross-examination of Piet van Zyl, the defence's third mitigating witness. Van Zyl is Oscar's professional manager and spoke of Oscar's extensive charity work. Advocate Nel suggested that philanthropy is often used by athletes as a way of promoting their careers. Nel went on to grill Van Zyl on whether he perceives Oscar to be a victim. Let's now get some analysis from our legal panel here with me in studio. Retired Judge Chris Greenland and Wits Associate Law Professor James Grant. Welcome to the both of you.
Good morning.
Morning.
Chris, let's just start with you. Is Gerrie Nel's line of cross-examination taking the sentencing issue any further?
That's anybody's guess. At the end of the day, the judge is going to have to weigh up all the evidence. What Gerrie Nel is doing, and he's doing it very well, he's exposing this evidence for what it's actually worth. I previously spoke about delicious vagueness when witnesses give evidence. And in court we talk about the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. What Gerrie is doing is exposing the whole truth. The witness having previously only given truthful evidence. And he's showing, for instance, that insofar as you paint a picture of Oscar being a very charitably minded person, firstly, it's in his own career interests to do that. And secondly, there's nothing actually coming out of his pocket. At best, what Oscar is contributing is his time to all this good work. So he's exposing the whole truth about the claim that Oscar is this wonderful gift of the givers.
So how will it help those in sentencing or not help in sentencing?
Well, as I said, it's one of the factors. What the court has to do, as we have said time and time again, is to balance the interests of the accused and assess the gravity of the offense and assess the interests of society. In that balancing act, it then has to posit Oscar for what he really is as a human being. Give him such credit as he actually deserves, not what is claimed by his supporters like these witnesses. And that's what Nelly is doing. He's showing that the claim is probably exaggerated in terms of a delicious vagueness about the realities.
James?
If I can just say that I think that we're in the territory at the moment, given the judgment of Masipa, that this is culpable homicide. She has to treat this as a terrible human tragedy. And so we're seeing the defense push the argument to say this is a once-in-a-lifetime dreadful mistake made by an otherwise good person. And Nel is countering that to say, you know what, this person is actually not as good as you're making them out to be, and so to an extent he's undermining that argument.
James, what about the comment from Piet van Zyl that there was no discussion held with Oscar Pistorius about his future because there were too many things hanging in the air, they wanted the trial to be over first?
It's difficult to undermine that. I personally find it difficult to believe. However, I would say, and perhaps it's valuable for your viewers to understand that at this point of the trial, the rules of evidence are to a great extent relaxed. So I don't think that anybody's going to be calling him out on that. Beyond that, I don't know where that would take us, whether if they had planned a future or not. Again, it's a difficulty with a lot of this evidence.
And perhaps not material at this point anyway.
Yeah.
Makes no difference at all.
As I'm struggling with most of this evidence, I really wonder where this is taking us. It's what lawyers traditionally do, but just because we traditionally do this, doesn't mean we have to continue doing it. We have to bear in mind that ultimately what we're trying to do is we're trying to assist the judge in arriving at a fair sentence. And so throwing absolutely everything you can at a judge, I don't think is the right thing to do.
Let's ask the judge. judge. Chris,
Yes.
did you find yourself on many occasions perhaps then saying to counsel, okay, this is not helping me? Can you, or do you have to really just sit there and go through it? Because what if they appeal later?
No, I think as a judge, the more I know about the accused, the better for me. So I'd actually be inclined to go the other way. I'd be very patient about hearing all this good stuff about the accused. Give the counsel every latitude. I'm more concerned about the other issue, the other side of this coin. These witnesses are also painting Oscar as a victim, and perhaps you can talk about that.
Yeah, yeah.
You want me to continue?
Yes.
Yes, I'm concerned with Hartzenberg saying that starting with us on this panel and you, Carte Blanche channel, and the exposure, the media exposure of this trial, that a platform of abuse of Oscar was created. Unqualified in that way from an expert witness like herself. So I want to say that all the experts that you've had on this panel have always done nothing other than indulge in fair comment. There's no abuse involved whatsoever. Secondly, as regards the coverage by Carte Blanche, the fact that they have broadcast this trial has accorded to the sacred principle that justice must be seen to be done. You have done nothing that even starts to amount to abuse. As regards the reaction of the public on this planet, yes, there have been some people that have indulged in abuse, but they're statistically insignificant. And that is only to be expected. So if you take this total picture, it is absolutely wrong and objectionable to characterize what has happened as having created a platform of abuse of Oscar in order to posit him as a victim.
James, your thoughts?
The one thing I do want to pick out in particular is the response of a very few, but some members of the public to the judgment, which was to suggest that Judge Musipa is corrupt or somehow stupid. And that I found most objectionable and disrespectful. I wish the public would understand that a judge, by virtue of being a judge, deserves respect, doesn't have to earn it. They've already earned it by virtue of being a judge.
Yes, and I would just like to qualify that a little bit without taking away what Prof has said. He's making an absolutely valid point. You will always get this. When the Constitutional Court of South Africa outlawed the death penalty, there were any number of people that went into abusive language about the court. It's par for the course. That is how human beings react. The point is it significant? Does it have any meaning? Does it have any effect? When those people behaved like that, I mean, in what way does it affect the Supreme Court judges? As regards Judge Musipa, I think she understands that there will be some people on this planet that will feel abusive towards her. It's part of the job.
When you become a judge, do you have to understand the virtue of patience from the beginning, or is it suggested that you come with it from the beginning?
The first thing that you absolutely become imbued with is humility. And from that platform, absolutely you have to be patient. Because if you don't have humility, and I'm not talking about the Uriah Heep type of humility, I'm talking about the proper humility where you have patience and understanding of other people and you submerge your own sense of importance, it follows that thereafter that you will be patient. And believe me, you have to be patient. You know, there was a case where I ended up reversing 56 years of law in Zimbabwe only because I was patient. Counsel was going on and on and on, and he sounded like a complete idiot. And it suddenly struck me, I just need to check on what he's saying.
Yeah.
And he actually had a point. And that I went off to Chambers, researched it, and I actually then gave a judgment reversing 56 years of law in Zimbabwe because he was right. And that was only because I was patient.
Patience and persistence, on the other hand. Now we'll return to our legal discussion, but let's now cross quickly to David O'Sullivan to give us a sense of what's happening outside court.